we can see that, so that's interesting because we can see that while many of us want to be happy and well, not all of us are able to do it adequately. And so that's an interesting thing to note. So to get a better sense of this, let's basically start by understanding the topic of stress. Many of you may already be aware, stress is an evolutionary response. We need stress to make us function effectively, and it's actually been very helpful to us. Consider this example. You've eaten some food and your body is right now trying to digest your food. Or you have an infection and your body is trying to fight this infection, and therefore you have a fever. Now, at the same time, just as you're digesting your food or as you're fighting off this infection, you suddenly see a tiger. And at that moment, what is most important for you as this tiger is approaching you is to save yourself from the tiger. And so your body stops focusing on digestion or fighting your infection. And once you've saved yourself from the tiger, your body goes back to digesting your food or fighting your infection. So stress is very useful because it drives our body to do certain things which are essential at that point in time. And then once the stress has passed us, basically, we come back to our normal state of calm alertness. The problem in the modern age is that the causes that make us stressed don't actually go away. And that's why it's called chronic stress. For example, if you've received some critical feedback from somebody who's important, it goes on and on playing out in our heads. And therefore the stress doesn't go away. Or for example, in the current situation, the fear of losing a loved one in the pandemic, it just doesn't go away. So this is chronic stress. And as a result of this chronic stress, our bodies begin to feel inflamed. And this has serious consequences for our bodies, such as heart disease, diabetes, dementia, cancer, and nowadays even corona. See, corona is an inflammatory response to the virus. You have a cytokine storm, an inflammation that takes place in your body as a response to the virus. It's the inflammation that kills you in corona. And this inflammation becomes much worse when we are stressed. When you're already stressed, in addition to that, it becomes much worse for us. In the same way, inflammation has serious costs to our minds as well. It can cause us to feel anxiety, depression, and burnout. And these two are connected with each other. The state of mind contributes to the state of the body. The state of the body contributes to the state of the mind. So it's good for us to think about what is the source of this chronic stress. And it's useful to recognize that what happens outside are merely triggers that trigger us. In our modern context, much of our stress comes from overrating the dangers and false projections that we have. We overrate the implication of somebody having given us critical feedback. Oh my God, will that person think I'm useless, hopeless, whatever it is? Or overrate the dangers. Yes, corona is dangerous, no doubt about it, but we overrate it and inflate it and get excessively stressed. So what can we do if this is the cause of our stress? What can we do about it? We can work with our mind and our body towards our well-being. We can use our minds and bodies to substantially reduce the stress that we're feeling. And we can learn to stop having these overrated dangers and making false projections. And this, working with our body and minds towards our well-being, is actually these are skills and abilities that can be cultivated. So in this program, Reclaim Your Wellbeing, we will go deeper to learn how we can cultivate these and other skills and abilities using very practical exercises. So it's very practical in nature in terms of what we're going to do. But so far, we basically talked about stress, distress, and some of these negative things. But well-being is not just the absence of stress. Getting away from stress is important, very, very important. But at the same time, it's important for us to experience positive states of mind. If you go back to the survey, we all want to be happy. And well-being is the existence of these positive feelings, such as balance, confidence, optimism, happiness, love, joy. It is the ability to have healthy and trusting and safe relationships with family and peers, and to have the sense of security and satisfaction with our field of work and study. All of this resulting in high and positive energy levels, which help us to achieve our goals. And I'm sure being happy is what we really want, as we've already expressed from our survey. And this program, Reclaim Your Wellbeing, will help us to make this happen. But at the same time, I just want to point out that well-being is a journey. It's not that the moment you attend the program, everything becomes in a state of well-being. It requires you to consistently put in some effort from your side as well. The reality is that life shoots many, many, many arrows at us. And unfortunately, for many of us, we are programmed to respond to these in rather instinctive ways in what is our autopilot response, which helps these arrows to actually pierce us. But the reality is it doesn't have to be this way. By learning well-being practices, we can learn to make choices to exercise our agency so that we can deal with what life throws at us. In some sense, we can develop an armor to deal with life. And what I want to emphasize here is that while we cannot control what life throws at us, what we can control is how we choose to respond to life. And this program is really about acquiring the skills and abilities to be able to do so. So the 10-session program, Reclaim Your Wellbeing, focuses on helping individuals to thrive and flourish. It helps bring together different practices in well-being, which become a meaningful toolkit to you, that you can use the tool that is most appropriate at the most appropriate point of time. And it helps us to make the choices in our day-to-day life, which enable our well-being. Basically, the program focuses on preventive and promotive well-being, which is our ability to cope with distress and difficulties, and our ability to cultivate and return to positive states of mind. Since it's focused on preventive and promotive well-being, it does not directly address severe distress or mental illness like depression and anxiety and so on, for which you might need to go, if anybody has those, might need to go for professional help. But what it does is, by looking at preventive and promotive well-being, it stops us from sliding into spaces in which we have we are likely to get depressed or anxious and so on and so forth. And lastly, just to clarify, the program does not focus on functional skill sets in the workplace in terms of being able to manage better, time manage better, or carry out tasks more effectively. The focus is really on our state of being, but our state of being actually does help us indirectly in terms of being able to function much more effectively in the workplace when you're coming from a space of calm alertness. So what are we going to focus on in this program? Basically, we will focus on understanding our emotions better and seeing how our emotions unfold. In that split second between a stimulus, somebody said something to you, you got offended, whole variety of things start happening. When we start understanding how these emotions unfold, we are better able to regulate these emotions. And as a result of regulating our emotions, we're able to better deal with stress and build resilience. And we're able to cultivate through various practices, such as gratitude, self-compassion, and so on. We're able to cultivate things which results in greater joy, satisfaction, and optimism. We will also explore key principles of relationships and what we need to do to cultivate healthier and more satisfying relationships. One of the things that is most important in a healthy relationship is listening. And we'll also learn how we can deepen our listening practices. And the last two is that foundational to acquire these skills and abilities. Remember, these are skills and the practices that we might currently have, which might not be working for us, have been built across many years of our existence. And for us to learn to do something differently, it's useful for us to do two things. One, cultivate paying attention in the moment to whatever is most helpful for you to pay attention to, as well as learn how we can create new habits to override unhelpful habits that we might have had. And lastly, to explore the area of happiness, to understand what are the perspectives which, if we hold, can actually lead to greater happiness for all of us. So with that, I'm going to hand over to Ruchi to take us into a little bit of a practical experience through a glimpse of a practice. Ruchi, over to you. Do help me know when you want me to shift.
Yes. Thank you, Shashi. Thank you so much. I'm audible, right?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. And very happy to be here today with all of you. I also want to add that we went through your responses and most of them were bang on what the program is about. So that was really good. This is just to give you a little bit of a flavor of what the program, the kinds of things that you might experience in the program. So I'm going to lead you through a short exercise and experience. I would like all of you right now to relax with a few deep breaths. I hope you have a paper and pencil with you. If you don't, it would be good to get one. And then I want you to think about a time or a moment when you have felt happy, safe, and secure. Think back, or it can be recent, it can be, quite old, it doesn't matter. But a moment that you have experienced where you have felt just in that moment, happy, safe, secure. And it does not have to be, like an earth-shattering one, that's something really huge or momentous. It can be something as simple as a peaceful walk in nature. Shashi, will you sort of unveil the pictures? A happy moment with someone you care for. Holding or cuddling a pet. Being held by a caregiver, a parent or a partner or a friend. Or even if a stranger has performed some unsolicited act of kindness for you. Anything. And I want, I want you to, and if you can't think of something, you can even imagine something. That's also okay. But whatever it is, pick one moment. And then I want you to draw or write or about it. I'm going to give you about 3-4 minutes to do that. And as you finish, if you can just give me a thumbs up. So we'll take a few minutes. If there is any lack of clarity about the instruction, please do unmute and speak. But if you're clear about the exercise, I'd request you to go ahead and do it. Thank you, Kanika. I see that you've raised a thumb. Thank you, Priyansha.
See, Tejashree is also raising a thumb.
Thanks, Tejashree. Appa Sahib is finished too. Rakesh, Kushal. Okay. I see most people have finished. I saw Komal, Sonali. Okay, so we'll go ahead with the next part of the exercise. I want you to just read what you have written. And if you have drawn something, just trace your hand over your drawing that you have made. Just take a moment and do that. And after this, we will do a short guided visualization. So let's begin by finding a comfortable position. Adjust your posture so that you're relaxed. You can sit comfortably in the chair or wherever you're sitting, keeping your spine vertical and your vertebrae stacked loosely, one atop the other. Your hands resting comfortably, either in your lap or on your thighs. Let your head float gently on top of your body. You may close your eyes or you can keep them partially open. It's important to choose a posture that allows for stillness, relaxation, and alertness. Now inhale deeply through the nostrils and exhale, letting go of all negative thoughts and distressing feelings and sensations. Fill your lungs with air and slowly let it go as you exhale long and slow. Take 2 or 3 more of these breaths. Relax and give your body permission to release the tension from your shoulders, neck, face, and any other parts of your body that you feel tension in. Now I want you to bring to mind the incident that you just wrote about or drew about. the time when you felt nurtured, safe, and secure, that you have just thought of. Bring it to mind. See it in your mind's eye. Place yourself gently in the same situation. Recall it as vividly and wholeheartedly as you can, whatever your moment was. Recall the images, the shapes, the colors, the smells. If there are people in it, see their faces, the expression in their eyes, the tone of their voice. Hear the words that they spoke. Let the feelings you experienced in this moment wash over you. Relive the moment, attune to the joy and comfort that you experienced in the moment. Feel that same joy and comfort again. Feel it in your body. As you get in touch with these feelings, consider how wonderful it feels to receive kindness and compassion. Consider how wonderful this feels to your spirit and how you feel in your body about it. Consider how it would be if you could make others feel the same way. Bring one person to mind other than a dearly loved one who could benefit from your kindness and care. How would it make them feel to be the recipient of your care and kindness? How would that make you feel? about what kind of a nurturing and supportive environment we could create for ourselves if we could extend this circle of care and kindness to more and more. Like ripples in water when a stone is thrown. As we conclude this practice, let's take a moment to commit to bringing the learning or benefits of this short practice to our time together this morning and to the rest of our day, and to be able to live the values of kindness and care so that we create an environment of nurturance for ourselves and others. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. So, I want to ask, think about what we just did. How do you feel right now? Can you type your responses in the chat? Just in this moment, how do you feel? Calm, grateful, calm, cared for, calm, better, at peace, happy. Thank you. Thank you for your responses. I want you to think about what we just did and ask that any insights. I see some more responses about happy, calm. That's wonderful. Any insights, any thoughts about what we just did? What do you think we did, and what can you take away from it? Anything. I know it's not a fair question with with just this little bit of exposure, but still I'm just curious.
So the immediate thought that comes to my mind is we are so much in rush that we forget to stop and acknowledge that moment and be grateful for what is happening around us, and there are people who care for us. And yeah, this is the immediate thought that I have.
Thank you, Priyansha. Thank you so much. Any other thoughts? Tejashri says pause and relive the moment. Yes, thank you. I can take one more response and then maybe.
Yeah, so I had one basically after this I felt like that we could actually expand our circle of influence by just mere sharing, and sharing a hug from somebody, and or any emotion that we're feeling. So if we're calm and harmonious in our own selves, then we can do better for others.
Thank you, Komal. And Rakesh says recollecting betterment we have and give to others. Yes, that too. So yes, all of the things that you all said are true. But Shashi, can just go to the next screen and one by one we'll go. But I wanted to draw your attention, and yes, all those are wonderful insights. So to a few things. one is that we can shift the way that we feel. I know what we did was a very brief exercise, but all of you have said happy, calm, better, which I'm assuming was a shift. You've been feeling neutral, or perhaps some of you may have been feeling out of sorts. But this activity helped to shift your current state. And you did this. How did you do this? You did this because of instructions that I gave. But basically, you did it yourself. You did this for yourself and by yourself. So what we did was a resourcing practice. We thought about and brought to mind a resource uniquely ours. I don't know if how many Harry Potter fans are here, but if you recall, Harry Potter fought or chased away Dementors with the help of his patroness. So a resource that is like a patroness. It's a charm or a memory or a moment. It can also be an object that makes us feel better. And by deliberately accessing that, you shifted the way you felt. So the first point that I want to make is of, agency that Shashi spoke about, that we have a choice and we can cultivate our inner resources to deal with life's difficult moments. This is a very, very short and quick, like getting, a little bit of a not even a dipstick, a little toe wet example of cultivation. If you were to do this repeatedly, this would be yours to access, like a very well-loved book sitting on your bookshelf, which you can just take off and flip through anytime you like. But to be able to have access to it, you have to, like Shashi said, well-being is a journey. So that's the first thing that I wanted to point out. The second point I want to make is, how did we do this? Where you place your attention on matters a great deal. Once again, it's a choice that we have. What did we do in this exercise? We took our lens of attention. We took our attention and deliberately placed it on a pleasant and happy experience. And through that act of placing our attention, we managed to shift our inner state somewhat. So the point, therefore, I wanted to make is twofold, that where you place your attention matters. And shifting the focus of your attention can shift your inner state. And this ability to tell your attention what to do and train it to behave is something that we can learn with practice. That's, again, something that we begin as part of the program. Of course, this doesn't come through this exercise, but I just thought it was worth pointing out. So, and of course, all the other things that we go, when you are conscious of your attention, the first one that I think Priyansha made, that we go through life so rushed, we don't stand and stare and watch. It helps you to do that. And the other subsequent points that the others have said, that you can expand, you can savor, you can expand your circle of compassion. All of this, these are choices that we can make. So this was just a little glimpse of the practice and kind of concepts that you will encounter in the program. So now I want to just say a word about the design of the program. Shashi, will you just go to the, yeah, and once more. Shashi, just the next thing also. Is Shashi there? Yeah, just
stay there.
The
slides changing, but I think your internet's a little patchy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Shashi,
so you
now
may have
just
to
stay
go on
there.
video mute if you need. Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll do that. That will make it maybe better. My power went, so I had to switch my source of connection. Let me. Okay, so anything we learn or understand, we go through a series of things that happen inside our heads. Shashi, go back. Just stay there. You're on mute.
Ruchi, he is on the slide. I don't think your slide is updated. We can see the correct slide. Just keep speaking.
Okay. All right. So anything that we learn, we go through a series of, it's a process that happens in our head. And the first, where we want to reach is here, the embodied understanding. Where you can feel it in your mind and body and you know it. Your body knows it, you know it. It's an intuitive understanding. You don't have to think about it. But to get there, we begin with what we call just familiarization, receiving the knowledge. And design program is mapped to that. We begin with these live sessions where, for example, as you saw in the practice that we just did, I explained briefly about resourcing. What is resourcing and what is a resource? To add to what you will get in the sessions, you will also have access to additional resources like videos that you can watch or readings if you're interested in doing a deeper dive. Now, from received knowledge to embodied understanding, there's a very critical step in the middle, which is personal insight. Unless you make meaning for yourself, it's not, you don't go from just sort of reading about something to having it embodied. And that making meaning, happens partly in the sessions, where there'll be a lot of little exercises where you're asked to think about what happens in your life. Does it make sense for you? Recall situations from your life, a little like what we did today. Also, there will be some assignments in between. It's a weekly session, so some practice, which to help you move from just knowing something to practicing it and making sense of it. You will also have an opportunity to clarify the content and the concepts if you want to with us. And the other thing is, if you like, you can choose a buddy. You have the option to choose a buddy and to practice and, alongside and talk to them. So these are some of the dimensions that are available in the program to enable your learning journey. And of course, practice in day-to-day life happens only when you practice it. And that is totally up to you. Shashi, will you move to the next one, please? Yes. So if the scope of the program is clear and you're able to commit 2 hours per week, the way the program is, it's very knit together. It's like a jigsaw puzzle as well as a tower. So the tower means that one session builds on the other. So the first is foundational, then the second, then the third. And as we build, we draw upon the previous ones. But it's also a jigsaw puzzle, because when you see it flat in that view and all the little pieces come together to give you that sense of agency and the ability to make the choices. So we really recommend that you do, or if you do commit, please do, unless there is an emergency, do attend all the live sessions and participate wholeheartedly. And of course, as we said, there are practice assignments built in. So you need 5 to 10 minutes a day to think about your, what is it, to take that pit stop pause of looking at yourself through the lens of what you have learned. And that's the personal insight, that when you examine yourself, your actions, your life through very through the concept, whatever it may be. And then you have some sort of personal insight or realization, and the understanding becomes yours. And along with that, to practice some of the practices that we share with you. So that's the commitment that is required of you from the program. You want to go to the next one, Shashi? Yes. So Kapil, will you share the Google form?
I've done that, Ruchi. It's on chat.
Okay. Thank you. So there is a Google form that Kapil has shared in chat. And basically this is to get a sense of what timings mostly that will work for you. Because we have, this is one of the things that our experience has taught us, that there are people who want to come and would like to participate, but the timing is, and from our own personal experience, the timing is a challenge. So if we get a sense, then at least we arrive at the most commonly preferred timing. And so if we are taking a 2-minute pause to fill in the form just now.
Yeah, we can do that, Ruchi. It's a very short form.
Yeah, just 2 questions, I think. So do you want to do that, please?
So you can just see the link on chat and just indicate your preferences there. Shashi, you can stop sharing for a bit if you want.
Thank you.
Do indicate all options that will work for you. That's why it's a checkbox. We've already received 5 responses, Ruchi.
Okay. Meanwhile, if there are any questions that people have, this brings us to the end of our program, really. If there are any questions, maybe people can place them in the chat, or people can also unmute and speak.
Ruchi, Rohit has a question. Can we shift the timing to a little earlier?
So Rohit, we've in the Google form, I don't know if you had a chance to look at it. If you could, that's the data that we are collecting to see what is it that, so yes, we are open to fixing it for a time that is convenient to most people. So if you could just indicate your preference in the form, it would be great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Ruchi, we have 7 responses.
Okay.
Maybe we can just, we'll also share the link in the closing email so we can get in some others. Put in that.
Yeah. So we have maybe 5-6 minutes for questions, if there are any.
Ruchi, do we want to tell them how they can confirm their participation in the program?
Yes. Sorry, for confirming participation, there is a raise a link that again a couple has placed. Couple, you've placed it in chat,
I'm placing it.
and it will be part of the email that is sent to you. You can go ahead and make the payment, and that payment counts as confirmation for participation in the program. Yeah. It's okay, Shashi, if he puts it in the chat. In any case, people cannot see this, and we'll send it in the mail. Thank you, couple.
We'll share all of these details with your email as well. And if you want to, including the video of today's session, so if you want to share it with any of your peers who you think may wish to join, you could also do that.
Okay, it seems that there are no questions. So let me say thank you to everybody on
Thank you all.
behalf of the team. And we are also looking forward, Aditi, Anisha, and to having you all be part of the program. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.